U.S. President Donald Trump has signed 2 bills supporting the Hong Kong protesters. This move comes despite strong objections from Beijing. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi condemned the legislation as, quote, naked interference in China's internal affairs. Trump has been facing pressure to sign them into law. So in light of Washington's bills on Hong Kong, the Chinese Foreign Ministry says it firmly opposes what it calls the U.S. meddling in its domestic affairs. It says the move violates international law and the basic principles of international relations. It also calls it a hegemonic move.
It's been relatively peaceful in Hong Kong since the district council elections on Sunday. Carrie Lam, Hong Kong's chief executive, gave a statement on the outcome on Tuesday morning. She said the results do not affect the government's willingness to continue to serve society. Lam said all sides need to work together to fulfill the government's work.
First is to uphold the one country, two systems principle, as well as protect the human rights and freedom of residents guaranteed under the basic law. Elections are, of course, a very important human right. The second principle is to uphold the legal system. Hong Kong has a very good law for elections to make sure that our elections can be held fairly and honestly. The third is to maintain Hong Kong's institutional advantage, and elections are an important part of it.
China and the United States have agreed to stay in contact with each other in their bid to reach a Phase 1 trade deal. This comes after Chinese Vice Premier Liu He held phone talks with U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. Now, the two sides discussed resolving issues on each other's core concerns and reportedly agreed on how to resolve some of the problems.
A homecoming for one of the world's largest tech firms.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of Alibaba, and we welcome this milestone to come home and to list here in Hong Kong.
The hometown crowd cheered before the bell sounded.
3, 2, 1, hit!
A new offering from Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba right here on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. As the company has expressed, the move brings the firm closer to home and can attract more mainland investors.
500 million new ordinary shares were issued for Alibaba's secondary Hong Kong listing with a purchase price of 176 Hong Kong dollars per share. The price shot up 6.25% to 187 when the market opened at 9:30 Tuesday morning.
For Hong Kong's capital market to continue prospering, it needs to welcome more new economies like us. We want to join the market and contribute to that.
Charles Lee, chief executive of the Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, says Alibaba's return gives a vote of confidence to the market amid the ongoing unrest still challenging the city.
Alibaba, after 5 years of traveling afar, finally came home. I'm also grateful that they choose to come despite the difficulties, despite the challenges that we are going through here in Hong Kong.
Lee adds that Alibaba is highly likely to be included in the Stock Connect schemes in the future to embrace more mainland investors. Hong Kong's benchmark Hang Seng Index climbed 3% following Alibaba's announcement of its secondary listing in November, injecting almost $20 billion into the stock market.
The fight against protectionism is gaining major momentum at the annual China-EU dialogue. Participants there widely agree it will take strong leadership from their countries. The joint statement from this year's dialogue for CEO and former senior officials says China and Europe should take leading roles in resisting protectionism by demonstrating reciprocal benefits through economic openness.
This is true in economy, with protectionism coming back in trade and investment. Since 2017, the US decision to increase tariffs on Europe and China has seriously impacted global growth, with a cut of $700 billion by 2020.
The former Prime Minister of France stresses the way out is to pursue the model of trust, openness, and mutual profits. while Chinese host says both sides have confidence in reaching the bilateral investment treaty next year.
We have many cooperation opportunity in many fields, such like the digital economy, such like the cooperation in the Belt and Road construction, and of course for the many traditional sectors, such like the agricultural manufacturing industry, we also had great potential either for the investment or the trade and other kind of cooperation.
Both sides also look to better their business environments for grain trade and investment. That echoes China's fresh regulation in October, aiming to attract more foreign investment with improved financial services and trade policies.
I think it is very important that China makes these efforts, shows that China is serious about improving the business environment, about improving also in particular the conditions for foreign firms to be active in China. I think there are areas of concern on the European side, but the best way of addressing those is through dialogue such as this one.
And WTO reforms are also high on the China-EU agenda.
Participants of both sides agree that next year is very important year. We need to work together to promote the WTO reform. Both sides agree that there need to have reforms to dealing with the new developments, such like the e-commerce, the digital economy, and the rule of the data across the border controls.
The dialogue comes amid the fourth industrial revolution, advocating that both sides should oppose digital protectionism and cooperate intensively on cybersecurity issues.
Tech giant Huawei's sub-brand Honor sets young people as their target group. Tuesday's launch event has turned into a demonstration of new lifestyles in the 5G era. Virtual reality video chatting, real-time car racing, live streaming while skateboarding, long-distance singing contests.
Well, it's like a carnival here at Honor's latest release. Tech fans are so hyped with a higher definition display, improved camera pixels, and enhanced battery performance. But the crown jewel is, of course, this little guy here, the 5G chip.
The new cell phones use Huawei's own chipset, which supports both non-standalone and standalone networks.
Standalone networks are, of course, much better than non-standalone networks. First and foremost, because of the low latency. I think you all saw the presentation. Two singers finished one song together. One is in Beijing, while the other was in Shanghai. Secondly, standalone networks can connect a large number of devices simultaneously. This is helpful in building a smart home using artificial intelligence.
The CEO says users can also switch between 5G mode and 4G mode on their phones. This will help users who are less tech-sensitive to adapt to life in the 5G era.
As real as he may look, this TV anchor is designed and programmed through artificial intelligence by Shenzhen-based tech firm Juyi. Perhaps a worrisome reality for current-day anchors, AI is becoming more and more relevant in our everyday lives. With offices in China, Singapore, and Belarus, Juyi is offering solutions in various sectors, from banking and travel to customer service-oriented products. Their machine learning and AI are able to operate around the clock. But how will this impact the labor market? And what's the outlook when it comes to technology replacing human workers?
After AI came out, many people were worried if AI would replace human work and create unemployment. But from our specific practice, we think AI is creating new types of jobs. New AI trainers are becoming a job. They help digital employees with training and developing procedures. All industries where AI digital employees are established will ultimately need AI trainers.
Wu also believes that technology and human learning, at least at its current stage, is more suitable for specific tasks.
AI is suitable for simple, repetitive, and high-accuracy work. Human employees are more suitable for creative, social, and caring work. So there are actually different scopes of application. In our practice, we do the same. AI digital employees do some simple and inefficient work. After releasing human employees from the previous inefficient work, human employees can do more complex and creative work.
According to a report by China's State Council, the country's core AI industries are expected to exceed $22 billion by next year. Meanwhile, China is leading the way in research and the commercial application of advanced technology.
We believe that China will be the largest application market of AI in the future. I also see that China has attracted a large number of overseas AI scholars for development.
With AI and other human learning technologies slowly making inroads into various fields and sectors, a sense of assurance remains for many, knowing that companies are keeping in mind the potential and future impacts.